Yeah, didn't think I'd be having conversations about race with my 5-year-old before she starts kindergarten next week, but I did, and I'd like to thank my brother-in-law for that, guys, because I'm still not over that. And if you don't know, I went up to Maine with my mixed daughter, and I hung out with my sister, her 2 kids, and my brother-in-law, and that man's a fucking racist, all right? Like, a lot of people who grow up in Maine, sometimes it's out of ignorance, sometimes it's just out of, like, some Southern history. Regardless, I know that's his background. So he starts talking about, we get into it over my kid, because he said I was raising a and that I like wasn't raising a kid with self-confidence, all because my kid didn't want to share a water bottle. And I was like, she doesn't want to share. Sorry. I don't want her to share either, honestly. Like, we're in Florida. Hello, nobody's vaccinated around here. We're not sharing. And then he's like, we start going back and forth, and I was like, you wouldn't say if her dad was here. Then that leads up to him pointing to the woods behind his house and saying, I've got a place for his dead body right there. And I lost it. I'm still losing it. And my mom in the car this morning is like, you know, how are you feeling? It's been like 24 hours. Like, you know, and I'm like, honestly, I don't feel good. I do not feel good about this. I feel like I'm at a crossroad and I've got to pick a path here. And my mom's like, it's not that, almost like it's not that serious. Like, you know, just be the bigger person. Be the bigger person for who here? For him and my sister and my parents, or the daughter that I chose to have with a black man? Like, what is the conversation that we're having? And some of it I know is just this ignorant lack of awareness because you're not raising the mixed kid. And also my kid is white passing. So I think some of my freak out almost in my parents' head, they're sitting there like, okay, well, like, you know, she looks pretty, like, I don't know it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because you know the issue is my kid goes down to South Florida where she is the lightest kid there, and people are telling her that she's not black. She comes up here, goes to Maine, and it's, wow, like, you can really tell she looks like her dad. Punch me in the face, y'all. So we go back and forth. My mom's trying to give it to me this morning, and I'm like, I don't think y'all get it. I don't think we're getting it. While yes, like my sister and her husband and my parents, while yes, they are my family, right? Again, I've created my own, and I don't want my kid to come on the internet like I see all the time where people are talking about their white moms and how they raise them. Like, I'm not the type of bitch to pick and choose when I'm gonna stand up for shit. I'm not. It could be something happening on the side of the street, or it could be happening in my backyard at my sister's house. I'm not playing that shit. I am not. And so now I have to decide, you know, and like my kid was like, I hate him. Like, I heard him talking about daddy. And it's like, I dead ass almost was about to like invalidate her feelings. I was like, well, baby, and then I fucking stopped myself and I said, you know what, period. Like, full stop, girl, like full stop. I'm not, who the fuck am I to sit here and have an opinion on this low key? And I called her dad. I told him what happened. He was like, he knows how my brother-in-law is. Like, he, and I think a lot of other ethnicities know this game that they have to play with some white people. Like, they know that they're super ignorant. They know that they're racist. And sometimes, again, it's out of ignorance. Sometimes it's out of hatred. And you just know how to handle those people, I guess, which is stupid in itself. But he like knows the type of person he is. He knows not to get wound up over that shit, but he didn't play about my child getting called a pussy. He was losing it about that. Then he decides to tell his black mother from Atlanta, and she's losing it because the problem there is that she was not accepted into her husband's family. Her husband's family is Lebanese and white, and they didn't for that. They didn't with her, and low-key didn't for their kids because they turned out looking a lot like her. And she talked to me about this all the time in a way that's like, I would never want you to feel not accepted by me, by any, like she is such a lovely, and so part of me in that moment when he's talking and like pointing to the trees, I'm thinking about his mom. I'm thinking about his mom. I'm thinking about all these conversations we've had, and I think, Brooke, if you don't speak up, you don't deserve to raise this goddamn kid. You don't. Like, that was this moment that I've had, dude. And so again, now I say, hey, I'm supposed to go back for Thanksgiving. I don't want to. I don't want to. And part of me is like, I don't want to put my sister in on this, but I also don't want to be the one that's like, well, I want to hang out with you and your kids, but I don't want to hang out with him. Because again, what is he teaching his kids? If that is the way he thinks, is he on some where it's like, well, you know, but that's not Maya's dad. He's one of the good ones. Or is he actually talking about Maya's dad and lumping him in with that, with his ideologies? And either one, not gonna okay with me. And if your kids think that way, I don't think any of you deserve access to my child. Sorry, not sorry at all. And I'm telling you, you know. And my kid's dad was like, you know, I'm kind of surprised you you know, you didn't really have to do that. And, you know, like you could have just kind of kept the peace too. Like, I get it. It's your family. And I'm like, no, because now you're doing that where you have to conform to the white person in the, you don't, we don't. He knows, he needs to know that shit is not going to fly with people. And it might fly with your wife. It might fly with the people you hang out with you work with. That's not flying with me at all.
So a lot of people in my comments have been asking why I would even bother bringing my partner into a situation where he could possibly be disrespected. When my partner and I met on Hinge, I don't even think we had physically met yet. We were just talking. Probably like 3 or 4 days in, I let him know that there is a 99% chance that he will never meet my parents. And if we were to ever get married, I know, crazy talking about marriage within 3 days of speaking, that my parents would probably never come to our wedding. I let him know up front that this is the situation that he was going to be in because my parents are inherently racist. Since then, I have never brought him around to any family functions. He has only met a select few of my cousins that I knew I could trust because my parents are not the only ones who are racist. My aunts, my uncles, distant family members, older cousins, community members, they're all racist. And I did not want to put him in a situation where he could be disrespected. I have always done my due diligence to protect him from racism, from any type of disrespect. I wouldn't want to be disrespected like that, and I would never ever want to put him in a situation. The reason why I wanted my dad to meet him is because we are planning to take the next steps and possibly get engaged. I didn't want my dad to find it out from somebody else. I wanted him to hear it from me. I thought that my dad would be a little bit more open to it because we do have a good relationship. I've already cut off my mom. I haven't spoken to my mom in 6-7 years because of her racism. I thought my dad would be slightly different. I'm not saying completely different. I'm saying slightly different. And I was wrong.
You know, if I get to talking about history, slavery, a common thread that I get is, well, your own people sold you. I get that a lot in my comment section. And here is my patented answer. Yes. Okay? Some of them did. We're not going to erase history just because it makes us uncomfortable. Okay? Plus, there's a problem with that argument that says your people sold you. So why are you angry with white people? I hear that a lot. Well, I hear way too much. So you're taking one historical fact and you're using it to tell a false story about everything that happened after that. See, first of all, Africa was not and is not one country. And Africans as a whole are not one people. There were hundreds of different societies, states, and ethnic groups. Still is to this day. And some participated in the trade back then and some resisted it. And millions of Africans were victims of warfare, raids, kidnapping, enslavement. So when someone says your people sold you, my question is, which people? Because the people who were captured were not necessarily the same people who sold them. Y'all got it? And here's the part that often gets left out. African participation. Hold on. African participation does not erase European responsibility. European merchants came to Africa with an enormous and a growing demand for human labor in the Americas. European traders purchased captives, transported them across the Atlantic, and supplied goods and weapons that helped expand the trade. Understand that, okay? Then in the Americas, European colonists and governments, okay, developed something far beyond the various forms of slavery that had existed previously. Y'all get this together, get it straight, because it makes no sense that you don't understand that. They created a system of racial chattel slavery in which human beings were legally classified as property for life. And their children inherited that status, okay? Their grandchildren inherited it. Their great, I don't care how many greats you go back, they inherited too. Generation after generation could be born into slavery simply because their parents were enslaved. That's a crucial distinction. African participation in the slave trade, that was real. It was real, and I'm not going to deny that. But European responsibility for the Atlantic slave trade and the development of racial chattel slavery in the Americas, hey, that was also real. And that didn't exist over in Africa. That happened over here in America. And those facts don't cancel each other out. And here's something else that we need to understand, because see, some of these people that's writing this in my comment section, they got poor understanding. I hope they're getting it now. The fact that someone participated in enslavement does not make the person who brought them or transported you or enslaved you or built an entire economic legal system around your enslavement. That doesn't make them innocent. It doesn't. Look at it like this. If someone sells a human being and another person buys that human being, both people have participated in the crime. And we don't look at human trafficking victims and say, well, somebody sold them, so the person who brought and exploited them, they not responsible. All they did was just bought it, okay? Y'all, that makes no sense. No sense at all. So no, Black Americans don't need to erase African participation in the slave trade. We do not. We need to tell the whole story, okay? And telling the whole story means holding African participants accountable, holding them accountable without pretending European and American participants were innocent. They were not. Because history isn't about finding one group to blame. It's about understanding who did what, who benefited, who suffered, and how the system was created and how the system was sustained. Okay? So the next time someone says to you, your own people sold you, don't deny it. Don't deny it. Stand right there and ask them, and what happened after the sale? What happened after they sold them? Because that's where the history is that they don't want to discuss. That's where the history that they don't want to discuss begins. Right there. Okay? Amen. Ooh, don't get me started this morning. Amen.
All right, racists.
Racism is destroying America. And I'm not talking metaphorically.
We are literally hunting down the people who make our economy run.
Racism is backfiring. To the European Americans, you are the only ones letting racism destroy you right now. And you're not the victims. You're the ones who are obsessed with the threat that you invented, that you walked right into your own traps. You're all clinging to your whiteness life raft, but that raft is leaking. While you scream about everyone being racist towards you, your once white majority delusion is hollowing out. The opioid crisis only affects you. The suicide spike only taking you out. The economic stagnation in predominantly white counties, all your fault. You're not being held back by Aboriginal Black American families. You're being held back by your own refusal to evolve. You people have burned down the entire country only to turn around and blame the people you intentionally set on fire. And then there's your pattern of turning every place in this country into a shooting range. And you love guns so much that you even target practice in your own homes. I mean, even the threat of foreclosure almost always ends in a true crime documentary in your homes. You people have totally topped the charts of family annihilation. And the coolest part about it is, you can blame no one but yourselves for your current crime stats. White-on-white crime is not due to culture. It's due to isolation. You surrounded yourself with only each other, in gated communities and in incest burbs. And now, you're forced to address all of your inferiority. You've opted for no diverse perspectives to check your spiraling. You prefer no community beyond pigment. It's gotten to such a toxic point in your communities that even your child's first idol is someone outside of your race and household. Well, the secret's out. Your kids don't want to be white. Take a look at this craziness.
Y'all be wanting to be black so bad. Like, bro, get your own shit.
Finger with the
You look stupid.
Glock for the Draco, no, with the slime. And it's
What is that? They want to dance black. They want to talk black. They want to rap, wear your clothes.
Everything you've projected onto Black American families, like laziness, criminality, broken families, or a dependence on handouts, is now statistically manifesting in your communities and not theirs. The inner city panic that you sold in the 90s, that's now suburban Ohio. Or what about the welfare queen you invented? She's now a white mother in West Virginia on disability. The super predator? He's now your son with an AR-15 at In-N-Out. So the next time you fix your thin lips or your anxiety-filled shaking hands to type that someone else is racist, at least know what you're talking about. You're not being attacked. You're being revealed. So you can stop playing the victim now. You're not being held back by racism against you. You're being held back by your own racism against everyone else. And like I always say, the biggest obstacle standing in the way of the white race is a mirror. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
White people are not racist. Ethnic minorities and the so-called Muslims, I'm not talking about the true Muslims, the real Muslims. I'm talking about these fake Muslims, moderate liberal Muslims are 100 times way more racist than the far right. And I'll tell you, and before you start saying things like, oh, you're a sellout or you're self-hating, I'll tell you who's a self-hater. For all of you people here, ethnic minorities here in the UK that were born here, just because we was born here, that does not make us natives. We're not British. There's no such thing as a Somali British. There's no such thing as a Pakistani British. There's no such thing as a Arab British. You lot are ashamed of your own heritage. Just because being born in a country does not make you a native. Now that's what I call self-hate. And then you want to blame the white man for hating you. The white man has every right to hate you because you hate yourself. You're a sick individual. You're a beggar. Now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being British. But if you're not British, why are you begging it? You can't be British. You can't be black, brown. It is about color. Some people might argue, oh, it's not about color. It is about color. Europe is a white continent. If you have a Norwegian passport, a French passport, I don't care what passport you have. If you're not white, you're not European, you're not Norwegian, you're not British, you're not French, you're a delusional, begging. Excuse my language. All right? So stop begging it. You're self-hating, and then you want to blame the white man for hating you. They have every single right to hate you because you hate yourself. You're ashamed of your heritage. Why can't you just say I'm Pakistani, I'm Somali, I'm this, I'm Moroccan, I'm Arab, I'm Arab British, I'm a British Arab, I'm a British Moroccan, I'm a British Somali, you're not, you're a sick individual, that's what you are. And we say the white man is racist, yeah? We say they're Islamophobic. You moderate liberal Muslims are more Islamophobic than the far right. If in the Muslim countries we don't want to establish Islam and Sharia law, and anyone that stands up and says let's establish Sharia law, you call them a terrorist and a radical. But you're out here trying to act like a good Muslim. Oh, we want to spread Islam in the West. We want to spread Islam in the West. When you're neglecting your own country. But the moment I come to you and people that think like me come to you and tell you, oh, listen, we need to focus on our own home first. Charity starts from home. We have 50 so-called Muslim countries. None of them have Sharia law. All of them are ruled by puppet regimes. They're all apostates. All the so-called Muslim countries are ruled by non-Muslim apostate regimes who are puppets for the leftist, globalist, sick elite individuals. They are slaves. None of them are Muslims. Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, some people, they think he's Muslim. He's not Muslim. He's an apostate and a hypocrite. And all our leaders are hypocrites and apostates. And you liberal Muslims and moderate Muslims are more Islamophobic than the far right, because anytime you guys hear Islam and let's establish Islam in our own lands, you call the people, you call them terrorists and you call us radicals. Yet you're here in the West and you're demanding that the government gives you Sharia law courts and you lot are spreading Islam. You lot are sick individuals. And when it comes to racism, we are talking about the white man who wants foreigners out of their countries. We as Muslims, look at the Muslim countries, look at the hypocrisy. I hate hypocrisy. We blame the white man for wanting foreigners out of his country, yet we as Muslims preach a brotherhood, let's love each other, we're all one, united ummah. But have you seen a single Muslim country that would let their Palestinian brothers that are suffering and struggling into their countries? Look at the hypocrisy of Egypt. In the football field, they want to show the world that they stand with Palestine, free Palestine with the flags waving. Yet they cannot open the borders and let their starving brothers come in. And you want to talk about a white man wanting us to go out their country. Yes, the white man has the right to tell us to go out. We preach brotherhood and love and one nation. How come not a single Muslim, so-called Muslim country would not let Muslim refugees come in their countries? I hate hypocrisy. And you see, the left and the global elites are sick individuals. And me, by the way, I don't believe in mainstream media at all. When they tell you someone is an extremist or a terrorist, I don't believe that nonsense. When they tell you someone is a far right, I don't believe that. So, to all those that claim to be far right, even though I don't believe in any of these labels, I don't believe in far right, I don't believe in moderate, I don't believe in radical. You see, the left has divided the people into, they say the far right are dividing people. No. The left are the ones that are dividing people. They've divided the Muslims. When they tell you moderate Muslims, the name moderate Muslims just means fake Muslim. They tell you a radical and an extremist. Why are they calling that one a radical and extremist? Because that radical, the one they call the radical, tells them, I am not going to follow and obey you. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be long on this. We are way more racist than the white people. Believe me. Hypocrisy. I cannot stand hypocrisy. And I'm not here to. So, you see, I see certain black people and Asian people out there waving the English flag and those ones, they're just begging it. They're trying to out-native the natives. But all in all, I'm saying is, have some dignity, respect yourself. If you hate yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you? A white man would hate you if you hate yourself. You're not even proud of your heritage. You cannot even stand and say, I'm Pakistani, I'm Somali, I'm Yemeni, I'm this. Or I'm a British Pakistani, I'm a Somali Pakistani, I'm a Arab Pakistani, I'm a Arab British, I'm a Moroccan British. You sick individual, you're begging it, you're not British, mate. Being born here and having a passport does not make you British. You're begging it. I've never seen an Englishman that was born abroad that claims to be Japanese or Chinese, or that Englishman would always be proud of being English. He'll be like, yeah, I'm English, mate. And I respect that. Peace.
He makes a lot of sense. The truth is, many Muslims are peaceful, kind, and compassionate people. The problem comes from those who misuse or distort the faith and use it as a reason for violence or intolerance. Every community has good and bad people. Christians, Muslims, Hindu, and every other group. The same is true across all races and culture. The people in power often benefit when we are divided. This happens everywhere. Whether you are in Britain, Canada, the United States, or anywhere else, we should focus on what unites us rather than what separates us. Choose to be one of the good ones and spread kindness, respect, and understanding.